Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you the morning after the night before. What a dreadful night that was at the Emirates last night. Had a quick look there on the highlights before I started this video, just to go over it all again, refresh it all in my memory. I don't know why I did that to myself, because I had nightmares about it last night. It was such a horrible, difficult night for Arsenal, difficult night for Mikel Arteta. Like I said in the video I posted online from the match yesterday, which you can find down below somewhere, my match review and player ratings, it was definitely the hardest night, the worst night in Mikel Arteta's reign so far as Arsenal boss, and a lot of thinking for him to do now at London Colney over the next couple of weeks, while the international break goes on, to try and fix some of the issues that his side are currently struggling with. And I will talk about those issues during this video. Obviously I did the video, like I said, the player ratings from last night, but as always I like to sort of pop on the next day and do one of these, sort of delve a little bit deeper into it, and talk about some of the problems and the issues that were raised from that. Before I get into it, just the usual, thank you very much for your support and your with this channel, your likes, your subscriptions, and if this is new to you, then please do hit the subscribe button below. I am the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, and I do my best to keep you updated with all things Arsenal across all my channels on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and obviously here on YouTube as well, where I like to talk about and dissect what's going on at this wonderful football club. And it is a wonderful football club despite what happened last night. So let's talk about it then. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 3. I think the big thing that's come from that, and not just that, what's come from this season so far, and certainly in recent weeks, in recent performances, Arsenal's attacking issues. This is something Mikel Arteta now really has to get a handle on, because if he doesn't, then this season is going to disappear very quickly. He certainly made big improvements when it comes to the defence, even midfield. I know last night defensively wasn't great, they struggled, but I think on the whole this season there's certainly been very big improvements. You can see that Arsenal do play with a better structure. Teams are finding them a lot harder to break down. Got to give Aston Villa credit last night. I thought they were fantastic. I thought their front four kind of showed Arsenal exactly what they're missing when it comes to attacking. The vibrancy, the movement, the pace, the creativity, the interchanging of positions. Arsenal just really struggled to get a hold of them, especially once Thomas Partey went off at half-time. I mean, that was key as well for me. Once they lost Thomas Partey, Arsenal, it was effectively their best player, and they really struggled to cope in midfield because of that. But I think certainly attacking-wise, there's some real issues now for Arsenal that they've got to sort out. I mean, Aubameyang SA didn't have a single shot in 90 minutes. I mean, that just can't be right. You can't have your best striker, one of the most prolific strikers in Europe, not even having a shot on goal throughout the game. And it's not a one-off, these are struggles that he's been going on for a long time now. And it's got to change. I think the whole Aubameyang on the left-hand side, it was something that was clearly working. It worked last season. He scored plenty of goals from there. But now the goals have dried up and he's just not in the game at all. It's something you've got to really look at, because you're just wasting one of the best players, best strikers in the world by playing him out on the left wing. And he's just looking like what he is, an average left winger, because he's not a left winger, he's a central striker. And when things aren't going well like they aren't at the moment, and when players around you aren't performing like the other forwards, Lacazette and Willian last night, then there's only so much Aubameyang can do, especially when he's stuck out on the left, and he's not a left winger, so he is going to look like a fairly average player out there when things aren't going well, because he's not getting any service, and that's what's happening with Aubameyang. And you've got to sort that for me. Auba just can't continue to play out there when he's not getting any chances, and the few chances you are getting fall into the central striker who's in horrible form, and he's missing them. Lacazette again last night, massive moment just before half-time with that header from Tierney's cross. He missed it. He has to score there. If Arsenal go in 1-1 at half-time, it could have been completely different. He has to score, and he doesn't even hit the target. That's not good enough. The game against Leicester the previous week, when Arsenal were well on top in that first 45 minutes, the big chance again falls to Lacazette from Tierney's cross. Missed the target, or missed the ball completely. That's not good enough. The game against Liverpool away at Anfield in the league, 2-1 down, sent through 1-on-1, Lacazette missed it. These are big chances, and when you're not creating too much, like Arsenal aren't, they're not creating chances at the moment. When you do create a chance, you've got to finish it. And when you've not got your best striker in the central area, and those chances are falling to someone who's out of form, out low on confidence, then that is a problem. If Aubameyang has those chances that Lacazette got against Liverpool, Leicester, and Aston Villa, Arsenal could be looking at a much healthier points tally right now, because you would have backed him to at least score a couple of them. Instead, they all fell to Lacazette and he missed them all, and that is a big issue, and it's something that Arsenal have to sort out. And this is what Mikel Arteta needs to spend the next 2 weeks working out exactly what he's going to do. Is there going to be a system change? Is there going to be a personnel change? Is it time to do something different to try and get this Arsenal team scoring goals? Because what they're working on at the moment just simply isn't working. There's been no goals from open play for Arsenal in the Premier League since the win against Sheffield United. I mean, that says a lot. It says an awful lot. Since then, they've lost at Manchester City. They've lost against Leicester. They've lost against Aston Villa. They've won at Old Trafford, but with a penalty. Again, they missed good opportunities in that game as well. And so you've got to do something different. You can't keep plodding along like this. I mean, yesterday felt like a result that's going to lead to change. I don't think you can watch that type of performance and not decide you have to change things. And Arteta, look, he's a clever bloke. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's seeing, and he admitted it after the game last night. It wasn't good enough. And I can't imagine he will watch that back just last night, but he'll watch it back again today, possibly watch it back again tomorrow. He'll go over it in the video analysis room with his coaches, and I just can't imagine he's going to sit there and look at that and think, right, we don't need to change anything. So I think it is a type of result that's going to lead to change, and I think that is very necessary because it's clearly not working. He said after the game yesterday, a few quotes from Mikel Arteta, we spoke to him in the press conference. He said, "What is certain with these numbers, scoring this amount of goals is impossible to fight with the top teams. So we have to maintain the numbers we have defensively in our organisation, and for sure we have to improve our numbers attacking-wise if we want to be challenging and if you want to be consistent in winning football matches." So he accepted it last night. You can't just drag along with these numbers. 9 goals in 8 Premier League games. That's the worst Arsenal start in terms of goal scoring to a Premier League season since the 1998-99 season. That's 21 years ago. And it's just not good enough. Arsenal again now into minus goal difference as they were for much of last season. And it's just the issues that Mikel needs to solve. And for me, the big thing is the system as well. We've talked about personnel. You know, I don't think Lacazette and Willian should be starting the game after the international break. I think they're incredibly lucky to be starting the game last night, given the form that they're in. Both stunk out the place, let's face it. Once again, Willian was dreadful. Lacazette was perhaps even worse when you look at his numbers. I think he only had 15 touches of the ball, only had about 9 passes. 2 of those were in the opposition half. So he's basically just a passenger. He's not playing in a game, he's a passenger. So you're playing with 10 men almost, and that can't be right. And when you've got another player, Willian, who's so dreadfully out of form as he is, there's basically 2 of your front 3 players horrendously out of form, and it means the other one, your best one, is stuck out on the left-hand side alongside 2 players who aren't performing, and you know it's not good ingredients for a decent attacking performance. So, and for me, the change of system has to come sooner or later. Well, I think when Arsenal signed Thomas Partey, I was expecting a very quick shift to the back 4. Mikel Arteta is still sticking with the 3-4-3 system, and I don't think that is the right thing to do. I think he's got to spend an awful lot of time during these 2 weeks and work out what he's going to do formation-wise. I think you've got the opportunity now to play with a flat back 4. You've got the opportunity to play with Thomas Partey and perhaps Mohamed El Neni as the 2 sort of holding players. One of those really strictly can be holding in front of the defence. The other one can, you'd imagine Partey can have a little bit more licence to go forward and join in with the attack. But then you have the extra man in midfield who can provide something with the attack. I think that game against Sheffield United game, the last time Arsenal scored from open play, that last half an hour in that game was really, really interesting. That was the only time we've really seen 4-2-3-1 with Aubameyang as a central striker. We have Pepe, who came on the right, scored his goal that day. Willian went into a sort of central number 10 role or number 8 role, and Saka was on the left. And Arsenal looked really good in that little period there. Looked so much more fluid. They moved the ball quickly. They scored a couple of goals, really good goals as well. And it just looked like the sort of system that you thought, yeah, this works. This is exciting. They can cause teams real problems with this. And we haven't seen it since. And that's a real surprise to me. And I think that's what, if Arsenal are going to do more attacking-wise than they need to, then they're going to need to change that formation. We asked Mikel Arteta about that yesterday after the game, about whether a change of system was something he would be looking at, and he said, yes, for sure, we do that every week. You know, look at how we can get into better positions in the final thirds with certain numbers in the positions that have to be occupied all the time. The same for how we control the transition moments after not finishing that action when the ball leaves the box. Certainly, as you said, we will look at that again and try and modify certain things to try and get better like we always do. So they will be having a look at that. They will be considering the system and what they can do more to make Arsenal more of an attacking threat, and I think that is really key. I think it really is time now to go to a flat back four and either settle on a 4-3-3 or settle on a 4-2-3-1 and make the changes in terms of the attacking personnel. Me personally, I'd go 4-2-3-1. I think it fits better. I'd have probably El Neni and Thomas Partey as a holding midfield, certainly for now. Maybe change that up. You know, maybe you can bring Granit Xhaka back in to play with Thomas Partey. Maybe you can play Dani Ceballos there alongside Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey has to be the constant, and then you can rotate around him in terms of the three other ones there in El Neni, Ceballos and Xhaka who can partner him. I would then potentially play Willian at number 10 or Joe Willock at number 10. I think Willock offers something completely different, something Arsenal don't have in this squad in terms of attacking midfielder, but attacking in terms of the central areas. You know, he drives forward, he gets into the box late. You've seen the goals he scored in the recent Europa League games. I thought it was really harsh that he wasn't even on the bench last night against Aston Villa, considering how well he played against Mulder in the Europa League. I don't see what that says in terms of rewarding good performances when you don't even get yourself in the squad after a performance like that. I thought Arteta got that really badly wrong last night. And I think maybe it is time to do something with Joe Willock and give him more of a chance in the Premier League, because he does offer something that Arsenal don't have. He does, like I said, he does offer that late burst into the box. He does finish from those areas pretty well. And he just provides more of a goal threat, something Arsenal don't have from the central areas. Everything against Aston Villa, if they were going to score last night, it was going to come from out wide. It was going to come from either Kieran Tierney or Hector Bellerin. Nothing happened through the central areas, and that makes it so easy to defend against. But if you've got someone like Willock there, at least he's occupying the defender's mind. They're having to watch him. They have to track his runs into the penalty area. When he's not in the side or when there's no one in that area, it's very easy. You can just, you back yourself to cope when the team is only attacking at you from the flanks. You can back yourself to cope there, and Villa did that pretty comfortably last night. There was only a couple of scares. I would play either Willian or Willock in that number 10 role. I'd have Pepe on the right, I'd have Saka on the left, and I'd have Orba central striker. For me, that's a way for Arsenal to go once they come back for the international break. Whether Mikel Arteta agrees, we'll have to wait and see. But I am surprised he hasn't tried that system more, given the success it created for him when he moved to it against Sheffield United a while ago, and especially given how his side are performing at the moment when it comes to going forward. I asked him yesterday, were you tempted to start Pepe given his performance or given the goal and assist he scored against Mulder in the Europa League? And he said to me, yes, but me personally, more than just stats, I look at many other things. If we focus just on that, of course, there are certain players that have to play. We looked at other things as well without forgetting what you mentioned. So he's saying that the stats aren't the be all and end all. And I kind of agree with him in some respects, but I think in terms of your forwards, when you're struggling for goals, and you've got a player on there who does provide genuine goal threat, even if he does have some other issues, and we know Pepe does. He's not pulled up many trees really since he's come at Arsenal. He may not offer much in terms of defensively, but at least he does offer a genuine goal threat, even when he's not playing very well. And so when you're struggling for goals, for me, I think you've got to try and get as many players on the pitch who can score as possible, and Pepe is one of them. So I think it's time he has a proper run in the side, because Willian's had one since the start of the season, and he's not performed. Take the Fulham game out of it on the opening day, he's been really, really poor, Willian. So why shouldn't Pepe play now? Why doesn't he deserve a long, extended spell in the starting 11 to see what he can do? He finished the season so well last season with that in that front three that I totally think he deserves a go now. I mean, it's not like if Willian was playing well, you could kind of argue against it, but Willian's not. He's playing awfully, so surely it's time for Pepe to have a go. And then I'll play Saka left wing. He's been playing left wing back in those sort of positions for a while now. But I think you go to the back four, you have Tierney playing in a regular left back spot, and then you push Saka much more advanced into the left-sided attacking role, or even Martinelli when he comes back fit. But he's got to do something for sure, Mikel Arteta. He can't continue to go the way things are going, because they're just not scoring enough goals, and they're not looking good enough, and they're looking pretty easy to play against. Lastly from me, sorry, this has been really, really doom and gloom, this video, hasn't it? It's really disappointing, considering how we're also bouncy after the win at Old Trafford last weekend, to suddenly be all doom and gloom like this, it doesn't feel right, especially when you look out the window like I am now and it's grey, gloomy and miserable, and we've got 2 weeks of the blooming international break to go through. But unfortunately there's not many things to smile about after last night's performance. And another disappointing thing I mentioned earlier was the injury to Thomas Partey. That was a real blow for Arsenal. Partey not coming out for the second half. You looked at that and thought, yeah, this is going to be an issue, because he was their best player in the first half, and the fact he was their best player despite being injured for pretty much all of that first half says an awful lot about how his teammates performed. So the latest on his injury, as far as I've been told, he's actually pretty positive about it. He was this morning in pretty positive mood in terms of the injury, but it is going to be assessed. He's going to have a scan. I'm told it's 99% certain he won't be going away with Ghana in the international break. I can't see any way that's going to happen. Anyway, just waiting for Arsenal to confirm it, but I've been told it's 99% certain he will be staying in England. He will have to have a scan. The doctors, the specialists will have to assess that, what the damage to his thigh is, but he is hopeful that he is not going to be out for too long. Obviously, he now has 2 weeks to get himself fit. That might well come too soon for him in terms of the game immediately after the international break, but he is hopeful of coming back pretty soon from it. So that's the latest on Thomas Partey, and this is the end of the video and my roundup of what was a pretty miserable day for Arsenal. Hopefully from my next video onwards, look, we'll put a pin in this one, hope it was a one-off, and that Arsenal can come back after the international break and start winning games. I'll try and be more cheery in my next few videos, but today unfortunately was a bit of a doom and gloom one given that result. So as I said at the start of the video, thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate your time as always, and I'll be back during the week to try and keep you as updated as I can with all things Arsenal. Until then, everyone, enjoy the start of the week, and I'll speak to you soon.